Welcome everyone to the Real Trekkies Cast, Episode 5. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with my son Joe. What's up, Joe?
What's up, guys?
What's up, Connor Farley?
Hello.
What's up, Daniel?
What's up, guys?
What's up, David?
Hey guys!
What's up, Jacob?
Hey guys.
Okay, before we begin, I do want to say this. We could have a friendly debate where we agree to disagree, meaning that me and Daniel may not agree with each other. That doesn't mean that we're going to attack each other. That doesn't mean that despite my answers, he's going to go and troll me or me say nasty things to him. Okay? This is going to be what we call a debate. Okay? Where we have differences of opinions. All right? At no time in this podcast is anything going to be said where it's going to be hurting the other person. Okay? This is going to be a friendly debate. Okay? Just because we don't agree with each other does not mean we're not friends. Okay, so let's get that straight. Okay, I don't know what people do on other shows, but there's going to be none of that here. Okay, on this show. All right. So, just saying. All right, Mr. Daniel.
Yep.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Joe?
All right, man. You're looking good. I see the green shirt. You're ready to go. You're like Kirk's green shirt from the Enterprise. All right, here we go, man. We're going to talk about timelines because a lot of stuff has come up. You have some fascinating theories. I have different theories as well. Besides the theories, I do have the Star Trek facts based on the episodes that I've seen, which is all of them. So we're going to go into detail. Now, you were under the assumption, correct me if I'm wrong, that, and this is the best way we could explain this, is to talk about episodes. Okay, so you're under the assumption that the timeline. All right, who's inviting me to a hangout right now? 1 second. Okay, wait a second. All right, we gotta invite James. I believe James is trying to call and get in, so we're going to do that. Hold on a second. When I hit the doorbell in my ear, it hurts, so I have to stop. Okay. I hope he gets it. Let's see. We're having technical difficulties, guys. Hold on a second. Is he in yet?
Not
yet.
yet.
All right. Jake, Daniel, why don't you just talk while I'm trying to get James in? Why don't you just go into it?
Yeah, okay. Well, he and Joe had this argument that, he says that the original timeline doesn't exist because it was obliterated when Spock went back in time and created this new timeline, but I just go by the rules of quantum mechanics that states when you go back in time and you just create a new timeline, it just branches off,
But now that's quantum mechanics. I do have the book on that in the closet. This is not part of Star Trek, though. Okay, and we don't even know if that theory is correct in real life. But, and we're going to go over it so I can show how that theory is wrong, your theory. If you take the episode of Star Trek Next Generation called Yesterday's Enterprise, okay? In yesterday's, hello? Who's this?
Oh my God.
Oh, I invited Mackenzie.
Hello?
Oh God.
Hi?
Hello? Hello?
Bop your head to the beat.
Okay, hello, Chloe, and hello, this other Daniel from the Mirror Universe.
Bop your head to the beat. Stop it.
I have no idea. I'm so sorry. I gave this to Mackenzie. I don't know why all these other guys are coming in, too.
Okay.
Shh. Don't shush me. You shush yourself.
See the point? I don't know. See, back
okay,
then,
well,
back
hold on, Daniel. Who's that? Chloe Mackenzie.
in the 90s,
Mackenzie.
they were using something called the
Hi,
grandfather
Mackenzie. And who's this
paradox.
other person?
That's just Chase.
Who?
Chase, my brother.
Oh, hi, Chase.
Hey!
Chase, you said? Who's Chase? Has he appeared before?
No, I'm a brother.
Okay.
Bob your head. Bob your head.
All right.
Do.
Okay, Daniel. Are we going to be able to do this? Okay.
What?
Okay. So yesterday's Enterprise, right?
Yeah.
Enterprise C came through a wormhole, thereby altering the whole timeline. We've seen it on the camera. We've seen a new timeline replace the Prime Universe completely because it wasn't supposed to happen. And the whole episode, Captain Picard with Guinan, they were talking that this timeline is not supposed to be, and they had to erase this timeline to restore the timeline. Okay? That means that once it's gone, it no longer exists, period. The Prime Universe was erased. They had to reset it. Okay? So there were echoes. That Tasha Yar got to live in the past, but then give birth to a half Romulan, half human daughter. Okay? The timeline was restored. Okay? So yes, in Star Trek, anytime you go in the past, you do alter the Prime Universe timeline. In First Contact, the Borg went ahead. They went back in time. You got to see Earth as a Borg home planet. Captain Picard had to travel back in time to fix the Prime Universe timeline. Okay? They did that. So every time there's a time travel thing, the Prime Universe could get erased. Okay? When Q sent Picard back, like he made a wish, and he erased the whole timeline where he became captain, he was first officer, the Prime Universe timeline was erased. He had to go back and allow himself to get stabbed in the heart by the Nautican or whatever it is, and reestablish the Prime Universe timeline. You get where I'm going so far? So in every instance, okay, the Prime Universe timeline gets erased. All right? Now, when Spock traveled back in time in Star Trek 2009 movie, okay, the timeline was erased. All right? There was an echo from the... Mackenzie, if you could just mute for a second. There was an echo from... Hold on a second. I'm getting feedback. James, I'm just going to mute you for 1 second, okay? Okay. There was an echo, meaning Spock, from the Prime Universe that was erased. All right? So now we have a new Prime Universe, which is the Star Trek we have now. Okay? They cannot just press a button and go into search for Spock or any other thing, because that no longer exists. And if they were able to go there, and if they did blow up the Enterprise, then that Spock would not be able to go back in the past to create that timeline in the first place. So your theory is incorrect. They don't exist. You have the main Prime Universe timeline, okay? If that gets altered, it's a new Prime Universe timeline. If you're going to bring up the Worf episode called Phases, where they had multi-universes, that is a different story. Different universes, okay? Not parallel to our own, but it does not hold water. There is no identical universe. If it was identical, it would not be an alternate universe, okay? So that is my thing, that you cannot have this Enterprise from 2009 movies with this new timeline go into the search for Spock timeline, because it no longer exists.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the thing. I just want to interject something here, and I told you this before, Daniel. Unless this current continuity, this like current thing, clearly states that multiple universes exist and travel between parallel universes is possible. And now, whether or not it was said in, like, say, if they said it was in Star Trek the original series, that's one thing. But in a completely different universe, that kind of travel may not be even possible. So unless it's specifically stated otherwise, traveling between parallel universes is impossible.
Right.
Okay.
And the only thing that can fix this timeline is if they go back in time to right where Nero is about to pop out of that thing and explode it where he can't go through. And if they do that, okay, then just like when Enterprise C went back through the wormhole, that universe would be wiped out. Okay?
Oh,
And then, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. All right? Now, the only thing that can exist is... Okay.
Well, you know, back like I said before, you know, back then they were using something called the grandfather paradox theory. Now they're using quantum mechanics.
No, well, see, again, you're talking about real-world theories based in a fantasy world of Star Trek. You can't do that. Okay? Again, Star Trek, the only thing that you could say that remains from the Prime Universe is Enterprise Universe with Captain Archer, because that's before Kirk.
No. Archer was never part of the Prime Universe. He was a timeline that was created from the event of First Contact. It doesn't have anything to do with original continuity.
No. Archer's part of the main timeline. It's not from an alternate universe. It's not from an alternate universe. Because they have William Riker and Deanna Troi in the last episode. And that's part of the main universe.
But they even said it themselves, you know. They even said it themselves.
All right, I wanted this to just be with me and Daniel, and I didn't want to have, you know, Mackenzie, I'm sorry, because we're getting feedback and everything, so I apologize. Okay. All right. Anybody want to weigh in on that, James?
Well, I look at it like this. Archer was the first captain of the first original Enterprise after First Contact, so it's part of the main Star Trek universe. Any captain behind him is part of the main Star Trek universe. Kirk, matter between him up to Picard.
Thank you. See that, Daniel? It's part of the main universe. They tried to alter it. They didn't alter it.
Even the creators said, don't think of it as connected with continuity. It's its own thing.
Okay, and listen to me. They wanted it to be their own thing. They didn't even call it Star Trek. Guess what? It was getting close to being canceled. So then they called in the later season Star Trek Enterprise. Okay, it is part of the main universe. All right. What we learned in the last episode of Enterprise was that they were watching a holodeck of Captain Archer. Now, that is part of the universe. As far as what the exact details of that universe was, we don't have a real record of it. They were envisioning it on the holodeck. So we don't know if, you know, his engineer died. We don't know any of that. Trip Tucker, right? So we're just seeing, you know, basically he forms the Federation.
Wait, are you saying on the holodeck? This is just for clarification's sake. It's like what, through the Kobayashi Maru kind of simulation? Is that?
We saw on the holodeck that Riker was watching, as we were watching the last episode. To them, it was a holodeck performance of what they envisioned to have happened, not necessarily what happened.
Okay.
Back then. So in other words, Archer timeline does exist, and it's part of the Prime universe. And in other words, you cannot erase you cannot have multiple universes. It is a Prime universe, and right now the Prime universe is erased.
Well, okay, I'm just telling you what this is. This is just my theory. Even Roberto Orci said, you know, the the original
Roberto
universe.
Archie was fired from
Yeah, that's
Star
true.
Trek because of his nonsense, okay? And he was fired for just about everything, especially what he did to the Amazing Spider-Man. So his word is like dirt, basically. And he also told the Star Trek fans, especially you, to go F yourself. So,
No,
and that's what... No,
no,
he told
technically
Star
he
Trek
told the
fans
fans
to go
who
F.
didn't
He told the
care about the
fans to
movie.
go F themselves. He told the fans to go F themselves, just like Simon Pegg did.
Sorry.
So he did, and that's why he got fired, because he's just not that great to say something like that. So again, your theory is respected as much as my theory, but mine ain't a theory because it's basically what they've stated in the Star Trek episodes, the way it's happened. I mean, that's a fact. So.
Well, you know, just for the record, I'm not the only one who thinks this way. There are many other people who think this way too. I've heard
that's
you know,
fine.
All the time.
That's fine, but if we're talking about Star Trek episodes, we're talking about Star Trek episodes the way it happened, and Star Trek episodes the way it happened proves the theory that there's a prime universe and it gets altered. I mean, it's evidence on the screen. You can't make that up.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, there's two universes technically. There's the prime universe, and there's the prime mirror universe. You know, the opposite, the parallel, the evil Kirk and Spock that is together. The prime universe, the prime mirror universe. That's it. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, if you want to talk about Terminator, that's a whole different ball game that we could start talking about. Because the theory of time travel is different than Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Possibly you may be correct about your time travel theory, but only in Terminator Genesis. Because in Terminator Genesis, technically, multiple timelines could be created, and it could be an overall plot for the Terminator to take over multiple timelines. That's a different story.
Yeah.
Because in the end, John Connor's like, well, who sent you back? Because, like, my buddy's Matt Smith, Skynet, and we're in the future, and we have it. Like, we're the leaders of all, so who the hell sent you back from the future that we don't know about? Yeah. So obviously there's a paradox right there, meaning that maybe there's multiple universes communicating with each other that are just like there's one way, this one doorway that connects them to all, and that's 1984.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey.
Well, yeah, that's the whole purpose of Matt Smith's character in Terminator Genesis, because he's a person or an embodiment of Skynet that has gone through all of these different timelines, but he always sees the result of it, so he goes back far enough to influence it. But they all seem to have the same result. That's what I read anywhere. Every timeline has the same result. It's like Judgment Day. So it's,
with the exception of this one, though.
Well, yeah, obviously.
And if this one happens here, then multiple timelines could reflect this timeline, which we have a lot of work to worry about, basically.
Yeah. And here's the distinction right here between the Terminators, though. Matt Smith Terminator is T-5000, the embodiment of Skynet, and John Connor's Terminator is T-3000.
Yeah.
Right. And his Terminator 3000 is only one of them.
Yeah.
That's done.
And so what would Schwarzenegger's Terminator be now? T-1800?
No, he's T-1000 now.
Okay.
He was T-800. He was T-800, now he's T-1000, I believe, because he's the liquid metal now.
Yeah, he got an upgrade.
He got an upgrade. And also, technically, John Connor, there could be a timeline that John Connor doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's this timeline. Or she could have different kits that has a different timeline that sends people back to help her.
Yeah.
Now, basically, what you could have a Sarah Connor and Reese timeline where they have 4 kids, let's say. And in that future, because Matt Smith's still around as Skynet, they're not, maybe the Terminators are not really the rulers. They're trying to be. So, in other words, Sarah Connor's kids, maybe not even John Connor, sent a Terminator back to protect their mother in the 70s, 1973.
Yep.
And they don't put it on record because the timelines are altered and can confuse the crap out of you.
And Skynet sent back the Liquid Terminator back to try to stop him and failed miserably, apparently.
Well, they sent the Liquid Terminator to kill parents, and he did. And someone sent the Terminator to protect Sarah, but not engage the Liquid Terminator.
Nope.
His job was to raise her, run from that guy until she's old enough, and then they would face him in 1984.
That Terminator that was sent to protect Sarah, that's the T-101, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it T-800?
It was a T-800.
Recognized system T-800 model 101.
Yeah.
Well, 101 was the original one in 1984 that was sent.
Yeah.
But the T-800 is the Arnold that went to 1973. He picked up Sarah Connor and left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're infiltrators.
Right, and also keep in mind, too, that they traveled forward in time. So by traveling forward in time, you know, that has never been done before.
Yeah, went to like 2004 and then 2007.
And it's amazing how Sarah Connor had a working time machine, and Skynet, with all their billions of dollars, could not have a working time machine.
Because they never developed one.
You know.
Yeah, but they used a chip from the 1984 Terminator to help power it up.
Right.
The feature
So,
check.
I think what we're going to find is that John Connor's erased now. And the timeline to anything goes type of thing right now.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that movie.
It was in that bunker.
And I also believe that there's multiple Terminators running around that came after 1984, like the one from Terminator 3 probably still came back. Because I think when they first sent the first Terminator back, there was a whole bunch of Arnolds on hooks. Okay? And one only comes out. I don't believe that. I think the whole freaking, all the Arnold Schwarzeneggers on hooks all went one after the other. And they just scatter them. You go to 84, you go to 73, you go here, you go there.
I guarantee they probably, with Skynet, they probably sending multiple through like some kind of nexus to go to different timeline, different Earths, probably. Kind of got like a multiverse in Terminator universe.
Could be. That's where your theory could play into view, Daniel.
Yeah.
Because they follow the book that you follow. Quantum mechanics. Star Trek universe does not follow that. Not yet, anyway.
Well, yeah, okay.
So in a way, you win a battle because it's into play in Terminator universe, multiple universes, possibly. We think anyway, unless they prove it wrong in the next Terminator in 2017.
Or depending on what time period they go into Star Trek too. Like go 300 years in the future, they might have like the time shift again, or dealing with like different time breaches, or anything can happen. Like a bleed over effect.
I have a feeling what's going to happen is eventually there's only going to be Kirk left in the Star Trek universe, and everybody's going to be destroyed, and he's going to feel, well, if the only way I can save this universe is to end it, I'm going to go back in time to prevent Nero from coming in. And I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to reset the universe. And in Star Trek 4.
What would be the point of erasing all the characters?
Because if you restore the Prime Universe, then he doesn't know if there's a Kirk on the other end. Spock doesn't come through. You still have the Voyager timeline. You still have Next Generation, all that stuff. That will still continue.
Yeah, but everything that
went through
the first three movies, everything that went through the first three movies are gone. Like, so you can't do a Star Trek 4 without the characters.
Well, no, it would happen in Star Trek 4.
What?
Because that would be the last movie that they're contractually obligated for. So if that happens, it would be in Star Trek 4 movie.
Wait, they're going to erase everything?
Hmm?
They're going to erase everything?
The point of erasing everything. So it's just like,
Star Trek Into Darkness.
What?
Star Trek Into Darkness and have it
right, it would never happen. Right. Which shouldn't happen anyway. Yeah, it shouldn't happen anyway.
I know, that was a stupid movie right there.
I mean, if they could erase Orchie's universe with Spider-Man, why not? That's what I'm saying.
Well, if they do that, there's got to be something from the JJ verse that survives that crosses over into.
Why?
Because if they do that, I don't know. It's complicated. We still.
Well, are you upset that Andrew Garfield's not making any more movies as Spider-Man?
No, because he.
It's done. It's reset. It's erased. It's done.
What I would like to see with the J.J. Abrams universe, let them go into the mirror universe.
Right. That's what I want to see. A Mirror Universe movie.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But like, okay, it's like
originally the Empire.
Yeah, but look, what I'm saying is, it's like yesterday's Enterprise. Like, okay, let's say you're right, and that yesterday's Enterprise timeline was erased. But what I'm saying is something from that timeline survived and crossed over, right? So we still have.
Well, in the case, Tasha Yar gave birth to an alternate, to a daughter that's half Romulan, half human.
Yeah.
I mean, if here's the thing, they may do that, they may not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They should do that.
They may have an old version of Kirk that just goes over. Maybe that's what William Shatner's role is, as if he's in the new Star Trek. Like, he's the old version of this Kirk, and he goes into the other timeline. Maybe that's what happens.
William Shatner was at Comic-Con, and he's being coy and all that stuff, and he's like saying, "Am I in the next movie? You tell me." But I don't know. He's like, he's not saying yes or no. He
can't tell you, first of all.
I know, he can't tell you. What do you think, based on his answers? Like, what do you think?
I think a 50-50 chance right now that he'll be in another Star Trek.
No, I mean, yeah, but just think about this. Like, if he wasn't, he would just say no, right?
If I was writing the Star Trek movie, and being that I'm a William Shatner fan, I would do whatever I could to work him into the script. Yes, if I was doing it. So, I mean, you got to, at the end of the day, you got to think, hey, man, let's let him do one more.
Yeah.
You know, just do it. It's a 60th anniversary, well, the 50th anniversary of Star Trek.
Well, what I'm looking at like this, though, no, they supposed to have him in the other Star Trek movie where he's supposed to be in like some kind of hollow cube thing or hollow thing that Spock's supposed to have.
Right.
That had an older version of Kirk.
And you know what? If they reset the universe and they don't put William Shatner in it, I would have him in the opening episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, where they find the Nexus and he comes out and he has an axe and he's still chopping wood. And that's what I would do.
Yeah, but how do you explain why he's older?
Because he prevented Picard from going in the Nexus in the first place, so he never died in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a paradox.
Yeah, but he wouldn't age in the Nexus. So.
They were supposed to end Star Trek Generations where he was chopping wood, and they felt that they took it out because it would because people would have to think and use their brain and say, oh yeah, that's right, he is. So they felt it would be too confusing to explain that, so they just took it out. But that was supposed to be an after-credit scene where it just shows him he's like, oh, I'm still alive, I'm chopping wood, okay. And that's it. That's what it's supposed to be.
Plus, you can use Doctor Who logic. Like, anyone remember Time Crash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how they explained in passing how the Fifth Doctor looked so old, and it was just because of the merging of the two TARDISes together. I mean, you could use an explanation like that to explain why Shatner has grown so old.
Right.
I mean, explaining how a guy looks older in a science fiction is not really that hard to do.
I mean, they explained it with Terminator. They're trying to be like, oh yeah, it's old skin, right? Meanwhile, you can regrow skin, so it's a human issue.
Terminator.
Why do you think that Skynet's been gathering those human prisoners anyway?
Good. I need skin. Right. All right. Anything in closing, Daniel?
I don't know. I just every time I just forget what I want to say, But when we get off this, I'm pretty sure I'm going to remember everything. It's weird.
You remember everything you want to talk about. We'll talk about that later in the week on the 6th episode of the Real Trekkies cast.
Okay. What I'm going to say. The reason why I want something from this timeline or this universe to cross over is because if everything gets erased, then what's the point of that? You just lose all that continuity. But if something survives and comes through, you could say that it wasn't all for nothing, right?
So you're saying, like, as long as Rory Williams exists and the Pandoricas are around, it could basically reboot the universe and restore it the way it is, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about Star Trek logic, but I don't think that'd be the case. I think that it was a mistake for that universe to be created in the first place. So if it was never meant to be, it could just be erased, and it's like, all right, no big loss, because Khan just became a different nationality, and not really happy about that. So I think most Star Trek fans I think most Star Trek fans would sacrifice 4 Star Trek movies just because Into Darkness existed, period, and just reboot it that way back to the way it was, because I think that people cannot accept it until it's completely erased anyway. Seriously. I mean, take a poll, Daniel.
What?
See if people would sacrifice all 4 of these new Star Trek movies to erase Into Darkness back to restore the Prime Universe. I bet you everybody would.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring back the Wrath of Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrath
Exactly.
of Khan. Yep.
That's right, man. Caudamontalban. Yeah.
No, I agree.
Montalban.
I agree. Cumberbatch should have been somebody else, you know. Just, I don't know. This was all Abrams' fault.
Well, if they
He
gonna
could have
bring
been.
back, I
He
tell you
could have
right.
been a captain from the future or something. He
Yeah.
could have been.
What about this? Why don't they bring Cisco back? He's from the Prime Universe.
I would bring Cisco back.
Yeah, he's from the Prime Universe.
Yeah.
He
I would.
got a history with Picard. He went back in time and was on Kirk's ship. I mean,
The trouble with Tribbles, like you went to that
Yeah.
episode,
Yeah.
whatever.
he'd be the perfect candidate. He
Yeah.
glue everything together from the Prime Universe.
I'm gonna try to get Joe into watching Star Trek. We'll see what happens. Yeah, the older episodes. He might like it though.
Yeah, Cisco's cool.
He might
you know?
like Deep Space Nine.
All Wrath of Khan was like the best movie out.
Yeah.
He's
So,
captain.
Yeah.
You know, he exists outside the timeline, so he's... Remember that episode of Voyager where that guy was outside the timeline? Remember the episode of Voyager when that scientist guy was outside the timeline and he was like changing, he was like pushing, I don't know, he was creating new timelines
Yes.
or whatever.
We're gonna talk about that also in the next
Yeah,
episode.
interact.
We have to. The Year of Hell, Part 1 and 2. We're gonna actually talk about that next time. Maybe we'll review that 2-parter. But for now, we're gonna have to go because we have to talk about Real Hoovian's gas business.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna do. So all you subscribers out there, viewers, I hope you enjoyed this cast. And we'll see you in a few minutes. Take care. Bye for now.